Hey, I'm Duke on Twitch. If you want to support the channel and greensunzenith.com, you can find my Patreon, merch store, and singles store where you can buy singles through TCG Player or Card Hoarder in the video description. If you want to get in contact, you can also find all that info in the description below for things like donation deck lists or just wanting to reach out. Alright, let's get right into it.
Hey team, welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back today with Green White Depths. A list very similar to the list that Dan Neely has been championing the deck with and getting some really nice results both in paper and online. This is probably the first or second time I played Life from the Loam in this deck. I'm obviously just a huge fan of Sylvan Library, but obviously with Library not in the greatest spot at the moment, pretty happy to try out something like Loam as a nice little card advantage engine, especially in a version with Urza Saga and of course Mox Diamond. Lavaspur Boots has been really impressive in all the decks that I've played it in. This card has been pretty phenomenal and I think takes a spot of the second piece that we have with Saga in the main deck and Soul Guide to the sideboard. So otherwise pretty normal. I did add an extra forest. I was going to play a Lush Porcino, the Surveil land, but I like the thought of my mana just being 6 fetchable, untapped sources. So let's go with that. And then, yeah, the sideboard's pretty norms. Hey Boyd, welcome. Hope you're well. Very nice to have you early. Legacy League, play points, nice. Gameplay. Huge thank you to Daybreak Games and MTGO as well for having me as a content creator, which is really nice. And a big thank you to Salty Pete for the follow. Hope you're doing well. Oh, thank you, Boyd. Too kind. Very cool. We just launched our first winner duel for our local legacy groups. That's coming up on June the 2nd on a Sunday. Which is cool. Got a Badlands up and then just cash prizes for the rest. So pretty keen to see how that plays out. Already lended out about 3 decks, which is cool. Hopefully see some new faces there. Hey Panda, hopefully see you there. Very much appreciate you and Dan making the drive down to legacy events and hopefully more of them with some spice. Very nice. I like that. I like that a lot. Speaking of spice, I've had a few players try out the Lumbering Sloth in Turbo Depths, and it is a little bit awkward. I think the best build for it is most likely going to be a Mox Diamond deck or a Mox Diamond Shell where you're playing Mox Diamond over Lotus Petal, and then you just have the full 4 of Yavimaya and 4 Urborg. Because you really want the 4 Urborg because of turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 2 Dark Depths and Hexmage, but you also really want to have the Yavimayas alongside the Dark Depths for your Lumbering Sloth, so Lumbering Mega Sloth. So sadly it's been a bit of an awkward card so far in testing. Alright, Matthias. Pretty happy to keep this hand. We have Windswept into Saga potentially. Always nice. Always nice to run into a little fan. It's very cool. Big shout out to Matthias Verk. But yeah, I think his hand has a lot, especially like turn 1 hold up crop rotation is very nice. Having the Saga. A little bit awkward if we want a Saga early on. Ooh, interesting. Opponent on 5 cards here. Definitely a tough spot. Because if we talk about a few things, I could Wasteland here, but then with the Saga already in play is a little bit rough. I don't want to lead on a Saga because I want to get value out of it, and therefore most likely at least have it on turn 2. We draw the basic forest, which is nice, which means the Windswept can get a basic plains and kind of play around Wasteland a little bit, or at least make Wasteland go towards the Saga, which we can then potentially crop away for another. And we can crop away Urza's Saga for an Echoing Deeps to go and get, I guess, another version of Saga, seeing that we drew the second one, so... I think I'm happy to Wasteland here, just because it kind of resets the game in a way that I get to potentially draw into Swords to Plowshares. That'd be quite nice. Matthias also saying a huge hello to everyone on YouTube. And on Twitch, of course, who can forget. There is an odd chance where they don't have a great land to play here. But they have a forest. Right, we can 6 here. They are on the black splash, which means that Safekeeper is open to Bowmaster, most likely. Also, Saga as a 1/1 can be Bowmastered. Mox. Well, Mox is pretty interesting as well, because Mox allows us to play the Saga this turn while also holding up crop rotation in case they have a Wasteland. So I kind of like that. So I think in this case, I'm happy to play the Mox, get rid of the forest, play the Saga, and then pass with crop rotation open. And then kind of play the Saga game for a little while. There's a world that they might want to crop into Wasteland to take care of the Saga here. There's a Wasteland. So we'll float the mana. Crop this away. And then find Echoing Deeps. And copy the Saga. Nice. One thing to note is next turn I don't want to play the other Saga to use for mana, because I could. Just have to go through the math of how that plays out. I'm actually going to put a draw step on as well. So we'll play this Saga. I get to use it for this one, but then untap this one. I'll have to tap this Saga, which will then have 2 counters on it to make a guy with this Saga. So we're actually just going to use a fetch here. And at this point, I'm pretty happy to get the Savannah as well. If they have another Wasteland, then it's probably just going towards this Saga potentially. They could try to take me off the Savannah and therefore not get the extra creature, but I actually don't mind Forest here. The Mox really opens everything up, which is nice. One really key snapshot here against the Abzan version of this deck is that the Mox Diamond means the token will no longer die to an Orcish Bowmaster, which is really nice. So they're holding up their own Reclaimer. Okay. Just gonna make our own guy. Oh. Now. Interesting. They're gonna use the Reclaimer now to potentially in case we have Pithing Needle, they're using the Reclaimer. This does mean, though, we're going to get Boots and then be able to swing in for 9 damage. Because there'll be 4/4s and then one will become a 5/4. I think Boots is best here. Equip to this construct. And they both can get in this turn, which is nice. The Yavimaya makes me think they have a crop rotation for depths and want to be able to untap, play either depths or stage. Actually, I think it needs to be depths. They could have double crop, to be fair. Having the endurance back to block is really, really nice, although they will have Reclaimer for Sejiri Steppe, most likely. And honestly, here we get to make this a 5/5, this a 6/4. And if they just play a knight here, we have the endurance to actually make these really small as well. So this is going to be a really nice turn for us. Okay. So this triggers. Can attack with both. They block both, which is pretty... Ooh. They're thinking. Ah, that's actually a great... Yep, that's a great great play. And I actually should have done that. I should have made the token, given it haste as well. Yeah. That's a really nice play that I didn't even think of. For some reason. Hmm. The question is... Yeah. I should have given it haste. It's a big no-no. Let's have a quick think. I don't even need 2 endurance here. But yeah, the extra construct would have forced the double chump. But hopefully I can kind of use that trick next turn, no matter what they play. Get Shadowspear. Potentially equip Shadowspear if we draw a land. We can't do Shadowspear and also, but tough one. In the mirror, I do like the extra endurances. I don't mind taking out a depths. The parts are pretty good. I mean, when you really look at it, it's really the endurances, sorry, the reclaimers and the knights that you care about. So having 6 answers is pretty awesome. I could take out the Karakas, and my reasoning for that is that the deck just has so many good ways to deal with Dark Depths itself that Marital Age coming onto the board is traditionally not a path. But it is also just a white source with 28 sources. I wouldn't mind going down a Mox on the draw. The card disadvantage does come up. And I don't mind us having more threats as well. Loam's still nice. Liberator's interesting. We do have the Boseiju. I could see the Boseiju dropping. Just because the Liberator at least can be found with the Green Suns if needed. Safekeeper's always interesting. More annoying than anything else. Could just be the Liberator. There are worlds where you just want to trade Liberator with a Saga. I am gonna keep Adepts. It might just be 2 endurance. Just 1 more extra. Yeah, I don't mind that. Pretty happy with this. Turn 1 Path, potentially turn 2 Knight. Obviously, Swords would have been better, but pretty happy to keep. Okay. Thankfully it doesn't change our hand too much. Safekeeper. I think here I'm happy to path at the end of their draw step while they still only have 1 mana. So if they want to crop for Sejiri Steppe they can, but I'm okay for that sequence. I just don't want them having 3 mana turn 2. But this is definitely an area where Path just is not the greatest early removal. Something like Dismember I'd be happy with, but giving them a mana is pretty huge. Ooh, okay. That's good to know about. So our Knight will pretty much just be a 2/2. Always. Our own crop's kind of nice. That means we can go Mox, Pitch, I pitch Karakas, they know we no longer have Karakas, which is a little bit concerning, but we also have Wasteland off the Knight, so I think we'll be fine. I really want to have the second green source in the other than the Mox. A nice little trick we have here as well is that in draw step we can crop rotate for Saga to then main phase 1 get another trigger. No removal or anything. Okay. So let's go to draw step. Get Saga. Force. Okay. I've got to use that mana to once. Ooh, that's pretty good. Find Liberator. And then crop rotate away the Saga. I kind of need to get a green source here to play the Liberator this turn. So I think I'll just get a Savannah. Guess we could thin a little bit, but if we're going to try to get rid of the Leyline, I kind of want those, so let's go for Forest. Stage. Play Liberator. And then pass. They have one card left. I assume here they'll turn one of the Savannahs into a Flagstones? Potentially a Saga if they're playing Saga. Foothills, okay. Try to get the Reclaimer to a 3/4 as soon as possible. Wasteland's fine, thankfully. We have 2 sources to drop to the Knight, which means we can bog the Reclaimer if needed. Go to the stage. Okay. One card left. Bowmaster. Okay. Interesting, just to trigger the, obviously, day-night. So the Liberator will be flipping, which is nice, and they're only drawing 1 card, so it'd be quite hard for them to be able to double spell next turn. Swords would be our best draw. The land isn't too bad either. I actually want this to flip, so I won't do anything this turn. Does come at a cost if they drew removal. But I think trying to get this frenzied online and take out the ley lines is where I want to be. Knight's fine. It's pretty good. So let's attack with the Trap Breaker. Could just take the 3 there at 19. That's going to chump. Okay. I will play the Saga. And then I will play Safekeeper. Three creatures. I have the extra land. We draw on the top. They do nothing. Interesting. Saga triggers, that's pretty nice. Play the Wasteland. And then we're just going to pass back here. Mox. And lose it. Maybe they want to flip the Frenzied? No, they play the land. Hey, Static Gripped. A huge thank you. Big fan. Reclaim is pretty nice. All right. We lost the plains, but I can just grab a Savannah here. Did I bring in the Soul Guide? No. Probably should bring in the Soul Guide. It's actually an interesting one. It could just be the spear. Boots is pretty interesting though. It could actually be Boots, play Reclaimer, and then there's no point in equipping Reclaimer. I think for now I'm happy just to pass back. It's not a great attack. I guess I could swing with a construct and then bog them depending on what they do. I think in that case I should have equipped the boots. Let's see. Let's see how they block. Potentially I can take the Reclaimer out here with a bog. And then I still have bog thanks to Echoing Deeps. Okay. Happy with this. They might even use the 2 to copy a basic. Yeah. I think in this case, I'm happy to just get rid of this basic. It's actually an interesting one. I kind of want to get the other Saga because that kind of draws them towards maybe copying Saga and then getting rid of it. But I also want to probably keep the Saga in the deck until my upkeep. Ah, the other Saga is gone. In that case, I think it is Deeps. And Deeps copies Saga. And then we can see if the Reclaimer wants to do anything here, but I assume they just hold it up. Okay. Well, now Wasteland's open, which is nice. They get a Depths. Okay. And they have 0 cards. So they do need currently 2 mana for the Depths. If they top deck Yavimaya, that's a little bit of an issue because they can... I guess they can float a mana and Wasteland this anyway and then make the 20/20. And obviously we have Karakas over here. So in that case, I think we just hold the Wasteland. Because at least it... Because look, if we Wasteland, say, Depths here, then they can just use it. So I got to see if they might fail. So actually, I think if they don't draw land and they float a mana and then sack this to go and get Wasteland, we have to respond to this by Wastelanding the... No, we can't. You can't do that either. They kind of just... It's the same thing. Attacking for 8. I do want to block this. I think Frenzy's done its role. I'm just thinking of like take 8, go to 5, and then potentially protection gets through, but we do have 2 constructs which are colorless. So potentially I just hold back here and allow them. Yeah. Like at worst, it's crop rotation, land, fetch into the bin. That's 2, 3, 4. That's 1 short. Okay. So I could have a Saga token here or another Knight with haste. I guess only with haste if I use this Wasteland. But if I use this Wasteland, then I have this Knight to find another Wasteland, and then this Knight to find another Wasteland, so... I think in this spot I'm happy to play another Knight, and then equip the Wasteland. Equip the boots. No great attacks, so we're just going to let this slide. So they're going to go for it here. So we allow this to happen. They then have 2 Dark Depths. They choose 1 to keep. And now in response to this trigger, we can sack and get a Wasteland. And now we also have Bojuka Bog open as well if needed. I could have also taken them off the Savannah there with the last Wasteland. That would have been pretty interesting. Hey Evan, hope you're well. 1 left. Thankfully, Sejiri Steppe is in and out because we have the constructs. It would have to be Tower of the Magistrate, but then also 1 more mana. Tower activate, 2 mana Reclaimer. Interesting. Construct in front. Deal the 3. Get rid of the last land. Bog. Them. Get the Shadowspear. Land. Fetch. Savannah. So they can get Bog themselves, but that's not great. So I think here we just equip the Construct. And then we attack with all except for Safekeeper. They have an Endurance, that's a little bit rough. But we would have the Safekeeper to block on the swing back. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, pretty close. Oh, we also have Safekeeper to sack lands if they don't block. Which might change things because it adds an extra 6 to the table. So Bogus resolves. So they're at 18, 2, 5, 9, 11, 5. So now we can target this, sack this. Three, 6, 10, 18. 3, 6, 10, 13, 18. Nice. Very cool. Always nice to navigate the mirror-esque. I think my sideboarding can be a lot better as well. Like, I think Soul Guide is just such a good card because if it's relevant, it's always great. And if it just draws a card, it draws a card. Can sometimes be a little bit rough against the Bowmaster versions, but typically it's, yeah. I think it's just good to have as well as another permanent for constructs to grow. Because, yeah, the Saga's there. I think the Saga's there just showed how the Saga Splash is a little bit better than the Bowmaster Splash in the mirror. Ooh, happy to keep this. Turn 1. Green Suns for Reclaimer. Opponent goes to 6 cards. Mox pitch step play stage, I think. Just in case my opponent needs green mana. It's a world where that changes how they develop their mana base. Alright. Hey Ramar, very cool to see you. Hope you're well. Hope your coffee is warm and your life is good. Step, stage, Reclaimer. Turn 1 Dryad, turn 2 Knight is also cool, but I do like that turn 1 Reclaimer just means that we have open, like turn 2 Bog, potentially, if that's needed. Okay, most likely a Delver style deck. Crop's pretty sweet, as that allows us to hold up the ability to save another Reclaimer from another bolt. But it would be, it's really tough playing into Daze though. Like, do they have Bolt as well, or do we just hold the Crop? I think here I'm happy to hold the Crop because it also is just pretty close to getting the combo online. They're down to 2 cards. Mox, not great. I'm happy here to try to jam the Knight. Just still a 3/3, but they've gone through 2 bolts, so. Days in hand. Okay. That's good to know about. Murktide. It's pretty good. So we know they have a Daze. I could just try to go for Marit Lage here. Oh, I don't even need to use the Crop, which is pretty nice. But I would need to do it in upkeep. I guess to play, like, some decks have been playing Stifle, so I could just do it now, to be fair. Yeah. 2 mana floating. Get rid of Yav. Get Depths. Copy Depths. Keep this version. Pass. Okay. Any land here is pretty good. Not a land. Okay. I wonder if I swing with both here. Just one step in the yard, correct. So there is still one in the deck, and there's also echoing deeps as well. Oh, yeah, so there's echoing deeps in the deck. I think I'm happy to swing with both. I guess it's tough, because if we swing with Lage, they block with Delver, they get another turn. If we don't draw a land there, they block with a Murktide, or maybe flip this Delver. I don't think I attack with this, but getting that Murktide off the field would be interesting. I think we do, because it also puts a lot of pressure on the Delver flipping. And then I'm not going to play the Reclaimer into Daze. I'm just going to hold the Reclaimer. There is a world where playing the Reclaimer, taking the Daze, maybe makes a Brainstorm worse. Like, what's the Reclaimer doing otherwise? Like, if we draw a land, we have crop for Echoing Deeps, copy Sejiri Steppe, playing around Daze already. I guess in case they draw double Daze. Nice. I'm happy to play it. No flip. Two cards left for my opponent. Oh, another Murktide. Okay. I wonder if they attack. I think they should attack. Because the Sejiri Steppe doesn't do any... I guess a Swords to Plowshares changes things. But if they attack, they put us to 10, and then potentially a swing back with these two is lethal. Which is a winning line. Yeah, nice. I like that a lot. No guts, no glory. Oh. They have one card left. We need this as a land drop. Target them. And then see if the last card is Daze. Nice. Echoing Deeps. Copy Sejiri Steppe. Sejiri Steppe, Marit Lage. Nice. Delver. Really like the parts. Really like the endurances. And I don't mind the Soul Guide. Don't like the Liberator. I don't mind trading a Knight for an endurance at least. That's fair. We did bait the days earlier, which is always nice. And we did talk about it as well, which is cool. I don't mind keeping the Sagas in. I'm not sure if they'll bring in like a Meltdown, because they didn't really see much other than Moxen. The Loam I definitely don't mind. The Safekeeper I'm happy to drop. Like we do have already crop rotation for Sejiri Steppe. It could just be 2 nights, honestly. Like, the combo is great, but having the endurances just to buy a bit of time and potentially win with, typically a lot less awkward than the night sometimes. I think that's it. Quick think. Yeah. Would love to have a hand with like 4 lands, 2 removal spells, threat. Really want good mana. Really want to make sure you have an answer to a forced or dazed piece of removal. This isn't that, but it's very close. I'm going to keep this because it's got the Soul Guide, which is really nice. Reclaimer as a threat if we want to throw it out early on. No Toma threat from them is pretty big as well. Okay. I like flagstones. I kind of want to get some value from the Soul Guide, so potentially don't want to play it this turn. There's also definitely considerations for if I am waiting to turn Reclaimer on as a 3/4, then if my opponent has a threat in play, are the bolts that would have gone to the Reclaimer coming to my face, and do I have a plan against that early on? I got crushed by D&T the other night because I didn't have the Doorkeepers. I didn't have the Doorkeepers in green white Maverick because we don't have the Fiend Artisans to find them through Green Suns, and I got trounced. I got trounced by D&T. Just like so much value in every creature, and I'm out here playing Noble Hierarch. I'm actually happy just to lead on Flagstones and then make them make the first move. I don't want to show that we have mana acceleration here either. So the Wasteland gets me 1 land, the Mox Diamond gets me another. Still no threat from them is, I think, very good for us. Green Suns, nice. So we can actually triple spell this turn. We can play the Wasteland. We can play the Mox Diamond. Probably just getting rid of Yav here. Although I don't have green without the Moxen, which could be drop. So we're going to get rid of Echoing Deeps here. Yeah, it's funny because I know Michael Mapson is a big fan of the D&T matchup and usually finds it quite favored for depths, which when you look on paper, there's a lot of answers for depths or big creatures specifically, like Solitude, Karakas, Wasteland, Port can interact, Skyclave can interact with creatures and stuff, but Sylvan Safekeeper as well is probably the key card that I find in that matchup. So I can play both of these around days first. We'll take out the Bauble because that's sort of the card that seems a little bit off. And then Green Suns for Dryad Arbor, which allows me to ramp a little bit, maybe play the Night next turn as a 4/4. If it goes to the bin, it's the 3rd land on top of the Wasteland for Reclaimer. So now I'm happy to Green Suns. In a pretty happy medium, where if this Dryad Arbor gets removed, we're happy. I think the worst thing would be like a force. Actually, force of any kind, like a 2/1 would be nice. Heat's fine. I'm happy to deal with the Volk. Didn't even float a mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If they have another fetch, we'll respond to the fetch. DRC, okay. Ooh, just the one land. Wasteland here would be brutal. No, but that's fine. Okay. So let's go Reclaimer. I could see this being forced. As a 3/4, they might not have a great answer to it, already using Unholy Heat and not having Delirium online, so yeah. They get rid of a Murktide, which is pretty big. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm a little bit weary of them just playing a land into Murktide, so I think probably I might even sack the Soul Guide now. Because Murktide is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Oh, I didn't even need to. It doesn't use mana. Okay. I mean, next time we get to play a pretty big knight. Like the Wasteland here isn't great for them, which is like the Flagstones is obviously saving us there. One key thing to do here, though, is fetch before you play the Yavimaya and cast the Knight, because they could, if they wanted to, Wasteland the Windswept, you then fetch, and then in response they daze the Knight. Here, I'm pretty happy just to get a basic. I'm also going to take this draw step off until it's relevant. Yav. Knight. 3 cards for them. One's really nice here because it allows us to dig for potentially an endurance, which is both a threat but also quite good defensively. Okay. I don't want to get a Saga here. That's a little bit awkward, but we'll see what it grabs. Well, there's the endurance we're talking about. We also have Stage, which is pretty interesting. Have 3 cards. Stage with Wasteland isn't that great, so I don't mind endurance. We can hold it up here potentially with the Knight, or we could just once again try to find Wasteland. Can find Stage with Knight. Here what we can do is sack the Flagstones to the Knight, which is kind of cool. Go and get Plains. And then I don't mind the Saga, as it might take the Wasteland off the table, which makes it a little bit easier to try to combo off. We also have a once to now try to find one of the pieces. Could have also gone for a green. Oh, it's still a green as well, which is nice, but yeah, we're obviously paying for this. Okay. Honestly, I'm not against playing this right now because they have 3 mana. 4 mana with the Flooded Strand, 5/6, so again pretty close. And we have the Endurance coming down the following turn anyway, so... Another Flagstones is also pretty good. We now have 3 mana for this and 3 mana for the Endurance, plus Night if they have days. Two cards left. No, I'm pretty happy at just jamming with the Night. Nice. Play a 3/4 Reclaimer. Hold up Endurance. Happy to see what they flip. Doesn't. Yeah, really tough for them. Like, not having a great way to have a stranglehold on our graveyard, or even mana in that game as well, was pretty tough. I think the biggest win for us in that match was just our opponent not having a threat on turn 1 or 2. It's fair. It's not very often you get to see that. Pick Your Poison was a card I was definitely thinking about. Not so much to deal with Murktide specifically, because typically Delver will always have another flyer, like a Delver to sack. But I do like that you can bring in Pick Your Poison and then have an out for some of the outlier artifacts like Grafdigger's Cage or Unlicensed Hearst. It doesn't deal with Chalice, which is also a small thing. Specifically Chalice for 1, which I wouldn't say is great against depths, but it's definitely a nuance. But Delver's definitely a matchup that I'd be happy to play all day. It's usually pretty back and forth. I would say it's pretty 50-50, if not slightly favored for green-white, depending on how sort of the side of the deck you draw. But with it being so consistent and having so many ways to find the cards you want, it's really up to finding your removal to have some control over the board. But yeah, big shout out to Dan Neely, who's been playing a lot of green-white and doing well. I believe they had... Yes, they've been back on Maverick, which is really nice to see. I think green... Yeah, black with Thoughtseize, a Bowmaster. Pretty much the same list all over. Except for a Birds of Paradise. No green mana, so pretty happy just to mulligan this straight away. Much better. Probably happy here to actually just get rid of the Safekeeper. And then pitch the Dryad Arbor to Mox. Ooh. Ah. Ah. Okay, up against lands, most likely the green-white variant. Cast Mox. Get rid of Dryad. We're just going to find a basic forest. But the Green Suns is interesting because it could also find Outland Liberator. So I don't mind Reclaimer and Boots this turn. because Liberator can be a really nice card, especially if they do try to go wide with Saga. Ricochet, welcome. Very cool to see you'll be borrowing a deck for the Legacy Winter Duel coming up. A little bit rough, knowing that they're probably swinging in for 7 next turn. We're just getting Flagstones. Yep. I wonder if there's a world where we keep the Safekeeper but bottom the... It's tough to bottom the Dryad Arbor because we have the Moxen, but the Dryad Arbor is quite nice with the Green Suns on a mulligan with 2 or 1 mana. One, 2, 3. Okay, we will be able to get 1 block in. But they might even needle a Reclaimer. Yeah, they probably need a Reclaimer, right? So I think then we probably just go and get a... we probably don't get a fetch land either, because then they probably just needle that. Yeah, I think it is just Flagstones. And then see what they do. Yeah, I do like Sundays. Give all the fathers some sports time for Saturday morning with their kids. Oh, they get boots. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, another Saga's gonna be tricky. At least in this matchup, we do have the full 3 Force of Vigors, which is nice. Yeah. I think we'll pack it in and get some more time for games 2 and hopefully 3. What do I like? I like the Soul Guide, I like the Endurances, and I like the Force of Vigors. Not a big fan of Safekeeper, Depths. I don't mind dropping down on some number of swords. I'd much rather go after their creatures by going after their lands. It actually can be a bit of a tricky one. I like the Loam. It could just be like a little bit of a cut on the onces. Like Ouphe's interesting, but it also hits us. Yeah, Shadowspear and Spurs are pretty... Maybe the Shadowspear? Yeah, maybe the Shadowspear. I do like the onces. They do get to dig for a lot of good things in this deck. I don't mind subbing out some swords for paths when they're on exactly merit, but the constructs are a little bit harder. They typically run 1 forest, but they're not great to go after. It's a bit of an odd hand because we give them green mana straight away with the Yav, and most likely green suns for Dryad Arbor, and then go for a Saga plan. We have a Bog for a... yeah, I'd much rather a creature-based start. Okay, we can keep this, put back the Dryad Arbor, and then potentially even Green Suns for it. Reclaim is what we're looking for. Okay. Cast Mox. Pitch Karakas. I think we still have to play the Wasteland, even though it would be nice to hold it back. Hey Thin, welcome. Green's actually quite good for us. Exploration, okay. Leagues are going well. Got up against Abzan depths and got up against... There was a thought of wastelanding the Cradle there, but we'll see what happens. I think now I need to once into a land to play the other Reclaimer. Okay. I mean, we could get stage, play the stage off the Yav, play the Reclaimer, and then we have... Like, they kind of have to get rid of the Dark Depths as soon as possible. But the Exploration Saga starts are very hard to come back from without something like Force of Vigor. Hey Meta, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Library, wow. I think it's literally Force of Vigor here that would bring the game a little bit closer, but like that's close, but probably not good enough. 3 mana's been quite awkward. Obviously, like the ability to play Liberator, I really need to hit Library, but then we're not wastelanding the Saga. I don't see like a winning play. It's only turn 3, but like having the Saga, the Library online, obviously the Reclaim with the 2 mana open. Yeah, like I think I just have to get rid of the Library right now. Hey, Mr. Verbal, welcome. The Mana Clash was interesting. I went 0-1-2 in Highlander, and I went 1-2 drop in Modern. But I played against some really cool decks in Highlander especially. I think I didn't put a stop on. I should have put a stop on at the end step. That's my bad. Played against some sweet decks. Like I played against a really sweet green-black lands deck in Highlander. That was playing Bizarre alongside some other cards. Bans were tough, but I do like that the precedent is now set. That stickers are no longer in Legacy. Okay. Yeah. I'm not going to get back from that. It's a bit too tough. But yeah, definitely one of those games where Force of Vigor would have been good to try to potentially mull into, but a little bit too hard to come back from that. Yeah, I kind of wish there was a middle ground. Like, I feel bad for those who, like, maybe built a deck around Sticker Goblin. But, yeah. I think lands typically is a pretty solid matchup, just getting those early creatures on the field and then making sure your mana runs pretty fluid is pretty key. Right. On the draw with a pretty okay hand, like turn 1, Reclaimer. You don't often see basic island pass. That's fine. Flagstones, Mox. Probably pitch the other Flagstones just in case this is like show and tell. Island upkeep. Lorien revealed. Another island. Preordain makes me think this is going to be a combo deck, so I want to try to combo off as fast as possible here. Bog. Okay. One, two. I will play the Karakas and pass. I'm not too sure. What did the Preordain do? One top, one bottom. Red. Ah, okay. guess we put in Saga. Interesting. That's a pretty good one. Once during each of your turns, you may cast a spell from your hand or the top. There is an Archon. So once per turn? Okay, so I can still try to crop as well. To be fair, if I was going to crop, I should have cropped in response to the Atraxa. That's 100%. We get Stage because it comes in tap this turn. Guess that works out pretty decently. So from the Atraxa, they grabbed Force of Will, Ancient Tomb, Preordained Lotus Petal, Archon. One top, one bottom. Okay, there's the Archon. That gains them 3. But we might be able to get this. But then they have a blocker. I do want to Karakas this. And we know about Force in hand. Two. Yeah, so here we just drop the Reclaimer. And the Bog. Bog coming in tapped isn't great. Unless we get Mox Diamond. We do know about Force. So the play here is most likely Depths into Shadowspear. I think it's the Bog. Turn. Copy this. Keep this version. Thinking of Veil? Oh, Boseiju? Yikes. Tough. Okay. Like, I guess Doorkeeper stops Atraxa and Archon? I don't mind. I think we have to have the forces. Maybe choke? Safekeeper can come out. Endurance. Loam. Probably a Wasteland. Probably the Bog. Teague's interesting. Veil's interesting. I probably like the like paths over swords because I don't want them gaining 6 or 7. Like, we are going to try to win through 20 damage most likely. Teague's definitely interesting, but I don't think it does enough. I could see a crop going out because this is a force deck after all. Even like go down to 2 crops and 1 swords and then bring in the 2 veils. Okay. A nice quick start. Turn 1 Yav into Dryad Arbor means turn 2 we can go stage and then crop away the Yav potentially. Okay. Here's one for chat. If I put this in off show and tell, I assume the other creature doesn't see it and therefore they get the ETB. I'm not too sure if they get the ETB or not. Here, I'm happy just to crop this. Get the force. Okay. No shuffle for them. I think Knight would be a pretty fantastic draw. Not Knight, but close. Same colors. Believe they get the trigger? Yeah, I think they do as well. If Doorkeeper Thrull and another creature and artifact enter the battlefield at the same time, neither one will trigger. You enter the official ruling. Nice. Interesting. Just keep making this a little bit Boseiju proof. It does open me up to choke though, which is a bit awkward. Okay. And to be fair, even though they don't get the ETB effects, they still get the creature and the attack ability from Archon. A braid. Okay. That's fair. This feels like a sneak attack turn. Or not. Oh, 5 mana through the breach. Lorien revealed, okay. I guess if now's the time to draw the choke, it's... I guess I could also copy the mountain, that's true. Okay. Okay, deck, I see what you're doing. Discard the Mox. And then I think here we just get rid of the sneak. Choke. Look, it's a clock, so I can't be unhappy with that. We also get to copy it with stage, so we kind of have 2 going. But our opponent has a lot of mana here. Oh. Interesting. They could Boseiju the Saga in response here. No. Alright. A little bit of a game on. Oh, hi. So now I have the chance to green suns for 2. Which I think gets Outland Liberator here. But they also might, they probably have Hardcast Force. Even Spell Pierce here would be annoying. Six mana? No. Force. Geodude, welcome. Hope you're well. Very cool to see you. The Ponder definitely feels like a keep. They choose not to use Ponder's ability. Okay. I think in response to this, we just have to try to swords this. We won't get our token, but that's fine. No. don't think we even have a great out. Show and Tell, Boseiju, who endures, Lotus Petal, Traxa, Force. Could just hardcast a Traxa. Or Show and Tell it in again. Yeah, we're done here, sadly. Tough, we had such a good start. But here we are, going for the 3-2 at least. And then to bed. But yeah, no Deafening Silence on the board. No like additional versions of Choke. Don't have too much for combo. Really just hope that Doorkeeper and Veil and potentially an early Bog can seal the deal against any of the combo decks we face. On the play, which is nice. Whoa. While looking at the one land, we'll keep this. Maybe just bottom the Sejiri Steppe, and then once to try to find a Reclaimer to play off the Windswept Heath. Try to get closer to getting it a 3-4. Bottom the Steppe. Opponent just closed the stream. Nice. Alright. Off to the races. Yeah. Once. Find Reclaimer? No. In this case, it may just be Depths. Just because it is closer to the combo than anything else. Lead on Windswept, play around Wasteland a little bit, hold up Sword. Bloodstained Maya. Ooh. Okay. Interesting. 4 power. Right, really looking for crop now. Not crop. But potentially a way to find stage. Take 6, go to 9. It's going to be close. Yeah. Now we have to find either crop or stage. Oof. Oh no. Tough. Really tough. I like the Veil. I like the Path. I like the Soul Guide. Karakas can come out. Most likely Liberator. Loam. Probably a crop. Loam. And a Wasteland. Seem to be mono black. I think I like this. Turn 1 Reclaimer, but then not a whole lot else. Would have swords open. I It's a little bit too tight on mana, unfortunately. Well, speaking of not tight on mana, I guess it's keep bottom Dryad Arbor and then go for Savannah Green Suns, turn 2 Knight. It's a plan. Okay, pretty happy to see Mortuary. Potentially next turn we have Depths with Swords open, which is cool. That is now off the table. Ritual into Agent, okay. Attack with the Knight because then you can Boseiju the land that they have to grow it. Could have also put the boots on. I think putting boots on is better than the Boseiju. Well, that's pretty good. Oh, can we? We can make an also boots? Oh, we can make an also boots? Oh my gosh. I love magic. I love magic. Oh my gosh. Just new boot goofing. Just new boot goofing. Am I right? What do I want? I think I'm pretty happy just running this back, honestly. Okay. It has the Veil, which is nice. On the draw a little bit less, but... kind of hope it's just a static. Fair. Interesting. Happy to know about the Wasteland. Double Wasteland. Stalker? Okay. Happy just to fetch now. Get that second forest. Pass with Endurance open, Veil open. I could also wait a turn to be able to Endurance and hold up Veil, but I think I'm happy just trying to get this Endurance down. And then honestly targeting nobody. Sure. See if we can bait out one Wasteland. The attack. Reanimate Endurance. Okay. So here I'm pretty much reanimating. I'm happy to Veil here just to cycle it and then get the Veil back into the deck. Thanks to the Endurance. Okay, Yav's cool. Hey, Pigeon, too kind. Do not be. To put that away. Put that away. Thank you very much for the support, no matter how much. Ooh, another Wasteland. Come on, creature. No, but maybe. Take out the swords. I will sack and draw right now. Okay. Play the Yavin pass. Look, Legacy is a pretty sweet format, not gonna lie. Voidwalker's annoying, but not too bad. I won't get the basic off it. Can I Boseiju my own land, but then they can Wasteland it? I think we just let this slide. I guess I could try to Veil in. I could try to Veil into Crop. Take 2, 14, and then it's pretty much a 3-turn clock. Can't Boseiju own permanents. There we go. I think we will have a little cycle here. Okay, well that's fine. That kind of just got us to the basic earlier. I will play out the Shadowspear. And then just hold up path. And honestly, at this point, it's between these two, but it's tricky. I think it's actually the Stalker that I care about more. But it is tough. Hey Snar, thanks for the follow. Hope you're well. Oh my gosh. Look, it does get Dryad Arbor, which potentially with the Shadowspear offloads the damage from the Voidwalker. Take 6, they wasteland this, take 6. Not looking good. This is game 3. Does nothing, sadly. Tough. Had a really good start and then just kind of faded off, but that is magic sometimes. The deck was sweet. I think if anything, I could definitely work on the sideboard a little bit. But yeah, a few games there, just a little bit land light, like 12 creatures, but we do run the Green Suns, so see how that goes. And Op Agent's just a card that I'm not going to sideboard too hard against, so good to beat Delver. Cool to beat the Abzan version as well. But yeah, definitely the deck kind of turned on me a little bit in the middle of that league, but that can definitely happen. Saga felt really good as well, so that was always really good. But yeah, I think the mono black deck just a bit too much hate for this deck to put up a bit of a fight. No, that's fair. Like, your deck is literally there to beat decks like ours, so I think the game one should definitely go to you. And yeah, game one opposition agent's just a bit too much to get through. We didn't really see the Loam. I think I could play another. I think it's probably worth playing another, like what Dan plays and has had a lot of success with, so it's cool to see that. Potentially, like, I typically like 2 endurance in the main deck, but it's obviously quite hard to find the space for that. But yeah, that's gonna be me. A huge thank you to you guys for coming and watching. I'm gonna quickly find out who is streaming. No one plays Legacy on these nights, unfortunately, but I always like sending you over to Gabe, so I'll send you there. All the best. Enjoy your weeks ahead. I'll be back sometime on the weekend, but when it best suits. Oh. /raid. There we go. Nice. Thanks, team. Have a great week.